I figured I'd make a quick video of how we roll our own here at the house. So I like to cut and thread my own spokes because that way it takes a lot of the nervousness out of ordering them online and getting them cut correctly. So what I've got here, if I can figure out where the camera is, right, is something that will not focus. But anyway, I measured these all out after putting my measurements into spoke calc on Excel about 1 billion times. And you can see I used my Park spoke ruler with some red tape to mark the 2 spots, and I first had marked them all just with a little bit of marker, Sharpie. You can see this is a 190.5 millimeters. I don't try to get any closer than 0.5 millimeter. And I got a new spoke cutter, which is a cheap Calhawk hardened steel cutter, which seems not to have fallen apart too quickly. It was a cheapie. I didn't want to use my Park cable cutters for this anymore. And so I've cut them all, and then, well, I cut a whole wheel's worth anyway. What I do then is I just file them, flatten them like that, perpendicular, and then roll and get all the burrs off, because you don't want any burrs when you're putting them into the spoke roller, or things won't work out nicely. So then I've got my Hosan spoke roller set up, and there's always, you got to make sure you have a little drip of cutting oil once in a while on those rollers. And I like to hook up my electric drill so that I don't have to use the little handle. I actually find if I use the handle I wiggle so much that I don't cut good or roll good threads. So then all I do is get this set so that the edge is right where the rollers start. You want a little bit of wiggle room in there so that the rollers aren't engaged immediately. And then make sure I'm rolling forward. Roll fairly slowly. The Hosan manual says you want 9 parts force that way to 1 parts force turning. No way for me to gauge that with this, but what it means is I hold this and give a decent lean spin fairly slowly, medium, and then once you get started, you gotta be really careful that you don't bottom out the drill against the jig. So I stop about 0.5 millimeter away, back it off, spin it a couple times to make sure the rollers here with the threads are all back pushed this way. Go forward again. Give a little lean while you spin. Stop before you bottom out. Pull. The reason you have to stop before you bottom out is that if you bottom out here, you'll still be spinning the rollers, but you won't be going forward at all, so you'll wreck your threading. So loosen it up. We've got our spoke with threads. I like to put about 12 millimeters worth of threads on them. 10 is sort of the standard you get when you buy them. I like to also give them a wipe on a paper towel to get crud out of there, and then I check once in a while to make sure. You can look and see if the threads look decent, and I check once in a while with a spoke nipple to make sure that it threads nicely, and they still do. So we're just, gonna make 64 that way. We'll be here all day, but it's still kind of fun.